All right, what about Manly in terms of how they look for next year? No matter which way you look at this thing, from 0-4 at the beginning of the season to get to where they did to a preliminary final was an amazing achievement for Des Hasler and that team. We've seen what Tommy Turbo has done. We've seen what Jake Trbojevic at the back end of the season as well has been brilliant, and Daly Cherry Evans has had a good one. Moses Suley came back and will look good in Dragons colours, but that's just by the by. What do they need, though, to get from where they've come this year to take that next step, MG?
They need a marquee front rower, like Gerds was alluding to before. I think I'm looking at their list now, and, Morgan Harper, who had a fantastic season, he picked the wrong time to have his two worst games against Melbourne and against last night against the Rabbitohs. His defence was solid all year, and maybe the grandeur of the moment got to him. I don't know, but he'll be better for the run. These young kids, Olakau'atu and Schuster, I'd like to see them early in a game do a hit up in the first set of six. It seems like it takes them a long time to get involved in the game. Once they do, they're great. And I think that's all about the learning. So Schuster last night, once he was unsighted until he started throwing balls around and running from one side of the field to the other. I'd love to see more of that. But you've got to have a base to get that needs a big forward run to get on the back of that. And Olakau'atu, well, he's a beast. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, he's skillful. But I want to see more of it. I really don't like these days where we're confined to an edge, and we've got to stay there. Come on, use your intuition and start. If you feel the game's starting to slip away, and you can change the course of the outcome, get in there and do something about it. But I think these days we're just too reluctant to, go against the coach's line of saying, mate, that's your corridor, stay in it. And I really don't like it. I really don't like the way that star players are confined to 5 metres of a field on which is in a 100-metre field.
Yeah, I think they're going to be obviously better for the experience, Tone. They obviously need to pick up some key positions, as we were not sure what's happening with Marty and not sure what's happening with Kieran Foran. So they're definitely going to be better for the experience. Some of those young guys that, as MG sort of said, got caught in the headlights over the last couple of weeks, which is easy to do in this time of year, so they'll know what to expect next year. Apart from that, I think it's just learning to win different ways. If you look at the good sides in the competition, I didn't know South had that offensive mindset win in them like they did against Penrith. That proves something to me that they can fall back on now, and they kind of fell back on it when they needed to last night. But as I said before, I just didn't see Manly in enough of those tight games throughout the year against quality opposition and just finding a way to win, and then just getting all those younger guys acclimatised to what they need to do in those situations. So when they did get back into the game last night at half-time, instead of coming out of their own half thinking they need to score for every play and going for the miracle pass, coming up with errors and allowing South to score again, they just hold the football, they stick to their plan, they have faith in their process, and you only get that through experience, through having it worked before. We did this last time, and these guys haven't been in that situation. There probably wasn't enough of that from Cherry Evans and some of the experienced guys last night to sort of calm the farm just a little bit, because they got a little bit of a sniff and they all got excited. And then all of a sudden they went from having no confidence to probably being overconfident. And they're a team that can score points in bunches. So, look, I think they're going to be an absolute threat next year. Just a couple of key positions they need to find in the off-season, and they're going to challenge again.
I reckon they need a hooker, because they put a lot of faith in Manasi Fanu for 2 years and he hasn't been able to play. And he was going to be their hooker. And he's still on contract there, Manasi, but obviously those police charges he's facing. He hasn't
Where's
had that.
the latest with him?
Well, it's not till July next year he's got his hearing date, so he won't be allowed to play before then.
Wow.
Lachlan Croker, with due respect to him, he's not a hooker. He's a half. So I think they need to go out and find a hooker from somewhere. As I said, they've kept faith with Manasi for more than 2 years now. They just need to cut the cord and move on. And if he gets off the police charges some point next year, then you can re-sign him at a reduced rate. But I think that maybe go and try and get Api Coruscant back.
What are you talking about, Rudy? You're trying to take Kick-Our away. Now you're taking Api Coruscant. He's happy out there, mate. He's doing his thing.
Brandon Smith. What about Brandon Smith? Imagine Brandon Smith in that team.
They can take Brandon.
I think they just need a hooker. But I think there'll be some changes in the offseason.
What was your Twitter handle again? Just for Penrith fans.
Well, there's a chance Marty Tapau leaves, because obviously he's got a year left in his deal, but he's been given permission to negotiate. So there'll be some changes there, I suspect. With
And
their
he's
roster.
on decent coin too, isn't
He's
he,
on
Marty?
huge
So they
money,
need to
Marty.
attract a big front, like as MG said, another middle forward. But they've got Paseka, who's developed
Yeah.
well. Sipley's coming along, and
Aloye.
they've also got Kepi and Aloye.
Aloye,
But
yeah.
they're probably one really good, and they've got Jake obviously as well. But they're probably just one really good, big, aggressive middle short at this point with experience.
Yeah.
But those young guys will get better. That's the other thing. I mean, the Schusters and all the Kawataus of the world,
Without
Oh,
a
yeah,
doubt.
bloody oath.
they'll be much
Schuster's
better
great.
next year.
They will be.
He loves a no-look pass.
He
It's
does,
his,
yeah.
his go-to. Will he stay as a ball-playing back row, or will he go to 6?
Well, he will next year because Kieran's taken up his options, so Foz will be there again next year. And they've got a young kid coming through, actually, Manasi Fanu's younger brother, I think, who's a 5'8", who's apparently the best 5'8" in his age group. He's a couple of years away, I think. So he's a big lad, Schuster. I suspect
Yeah,
he'll stay on the edge.
Yeah, I think he might have outgrown 5'8". He's just got to work out. As I said, I think that when you're a young player and you're told to stay on an edge, it's kind of like being on the bench. When you come on and you're kind of out of rhythm, and when you're out of the game for so long on the game itself, like 7-8 minutes, you haven't touched the ball. It goes through your mind too much, and you're overthinking things. Instead of just getting the ball and using their God-given talents to run the ball as hard as they can, and then look for the offload if it appears. I think at the moment Josh's first instinct is to pass the ball, and once he gets, and it's all to do with experience. You know, the kid's in his first year of first grade. I predicted this time last year that he'd be the breakout star of 2021, and he hasn't disappointed me one bit. I just love to see him get more down and dirty.